So I would say that definitely all immigrants, they have their own challenges, especially during this time in the US. But I think like there are a lot of discriminations, mostly by the system and the administration against Iranians. To name a few, Iranian grad students usually are given single entry visas, or if they're given multiple entry visas for shorter periods comparing to other ones. Not to mention the travel ban. The only way that you can get a visa right now is that if you're a student or a researcher. If you get other kinds of visas or statuses in the US like H-1B or work visa, and if you leave the United States, it's almost impossible for you to get a visa and come back. And going back to the travel ban, it's separating a lot of families. A lot of students cannot see their parents, and you hear a lot of sad stories. A lot of families are looking for more creative ways to be able to see the student. Let's say that you're a PhD student or you're someone who hasn't gotten your green card and you want to meet your parents. It's kind of like impossible right now. For me, it's been, more than 5 years that I haven't seen my parents or my family. There are like stories, for example, there's a library in Vermont, or there's a park near Seattle called Peace Arch Park, where you can go from the American side. Your parents can go to Canada and enter the library or the park from the Canadian side. During the day, you hang out, you talk, you spend time together, but in the evening, you need to go back to the American side and your family needs to go back to the Canadian side. It's kind of like the only way that is possible for a lot of people, a lot of students especially, to like visit their parents and visit their loved ones. There are also like stories that the officers at the border that know the intentions of the people entering the library and the park who are not treating them very well. A lot of stories like this and a lot of hardships that are like unique to Iranians and also immigrants from a few other countries.
It's so heartbreaking to hear stories like this. And thank you for being so honest in sharing these struggles with us. No person should be treated unfairly because of the stereotypes or be the victims of political games. So you mentioned you haven't seen your parents for 5 years. Did you mean you were not able to go to the border library or?
So because of my visa situation, if I leave the United States, it's like unlikely to get a visa back. And my parents, because of the travel ban, they cannot get US visa. So the only way would have been just like to do something like the library or the park. It's heartwarming to see your family, but like the context or like the environment when you're visiting your family is also important. So I myself, I do not find it, very likely to accept the fact that I just like meet my parent a few hours a day in a park or a library. So yeah, that's why I didn't go for it. As an immigrant, you learn to be more resilient towards the situation that are imposed to you. And there are a lot of things have happened to me and to all the immigrants and to the Iranian immigrants during the past few years that I didn't sign up for. But, you cannot always predict how these things go. So yeah, it just like kind of taught me to, fight for my goals. Being an immigrant, it gives you the experience of being part of a minority. And I think that's also very valuable to experience that. And I hope all the people would be more resilient and, fight towards the challenging, because that's the reality of living as an immigrant.
I'm really grateful for how open-minded you are in sharing your struggles and the extra challenges Iranian immigrants face in general.
Thank you for providing this platform, and I think, having conversations with people is the best way to educate ourselves. Yeah.